Dabomat, a minor deity presumed dead 100 years ago, along with all the others. Little is known about them, but one thing is clear. They have their own shrine, right in the middle of Lifefall. Or at least they did. Will, as you look down into the massive hole in the middle of the street Z created mere minutes ago, you are able to see nothing but a rising dust cloud. The church has completely collapsed at this point. Your tinkering likely sealed the fate of all the artifacts left inside. But as you look at your brothers, one twice his normal size and the other sporting an extra pair of arms, you can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. At least you made it out. And you aren't empty-handed. The seeds you took from the shrine rests in your bag. The golden circlet rests on Ellis's head. And most obviously, the 6 arms between you and Ellis collectively hold 600 gold pieces. You realize in this moment that you all look extremely suspicious. The sun is beginning to rise, and you can hear people beginning to make their way towards the extremely loud sound you all were responsible for. You have a moment to decide what to do, but that's it. So what will it be?
Let's get out of here.
I think Ellis goes, excuse me? What'd you say?
Let's get out of here.
He looks at Will and he goes, "Are you getting that?" What?
Juno says, "I'll see you guys back at the..." I'm going. And she disappears.
But where are we going? I mean, I guess we... Okay. And then Ellis just goes, "Just act natural," and starts walking casually away.
Ellis, quick, turn invisible.
Ellis goes, well, okay, well, here's the thing, though. I don't know how to do that.
I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds of real time to decide what you're going to do.
Will's just going to open his satchel and just say to Ellis, put all the gold in here. I'll try and I'll run with it. I'm real quick.
Put all the gold in there and then you'll run? What do you mean? Run where?
Will look less suspicious if I have it under my cloak and sneaking around than if you're holding it with 4 arms.
Oh yeah, I'm holding all my gold. I just go, I guess that's fair. Yeah, we'll put it in there. I put it in there.
I seal it up, kind of stuff the satchel underneath my cloak, put my hood up and pull it across my shoulders, and then I'm just going to try and run out and blend into the crowd.
Okay, cool. Ellis, what are you doing?
I'm just going to walk casually in the other direction.
Okay.
Like I'm supposed to be there.
Still wearing the circlet?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you maintaining concentration on the enlarged spell?
Oh, no, I dropped that after we got out of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Z, you're back to normal size. What are you doing?
I'm trying to move in as straight of a line as possible so I don't get lost in the city. But I'm trying to be just a guy walking through the city. Trying to be stealthy, but just by being a person. Just walking.
Okay, got it. So, Will, you are trying to blend in. And you're basically trying to be unseen, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to make my satchel full of gold look kind of like a pot belly.
Okay, cool. But is that more of a... Your goal is not to... Here's what I'm saying. I'm going to make Z roll a persuasion check and Ellis both roll persuasion checks to just like act natural, if that makes sense. Would you? But that will potentially result in, encountering people. Is that what Will is trying to accomplish here?
No, I don't trust myself to talk my way out of it. I'm just trying to stay hidden.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like neither of you are trying to hide as much as you are just trying to like not stick out. Correct?
Yes. Yeah, just trying to blend in.
Okay. But Will is trying to not be seen.
Yeah.
Z
and Ellis, give me persuasion checks. Will, give me a stealth check.
I'm gonna kill this. Yep. Mm-hmm.
For the record, Juno got a 19 on the die.
I got a 2 on the die. Okay, I have a total of 12.
I got a 3 for a total of 2.
Did you roll your muddled?
Oh no, give me a moment.
No, what? Chill.
See if we can get into the negatives.
I have to ask.
So let's see. So that's a -2 currently for my persuasion to blend in.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that checks out. And Ellis,
I got a 26.
Okay. Okay. So let's deal with this first. Ellis, with your 26, you clock that it seems like the way the crowd is going, they are all blaming Z specifically for this. His role is bad enough where you can see guards approaching Z. There is about to be like an arrest.
There's pitchforks and torches.
Yeah. No one seems to be blaming you for this at all, surprisingly enough. But yeah, I will give you...
Mr. Forearms McGee.
You have with a 26, you have a moment to intervene in some way as these guards begin to approach him with spears.
I'm gonna walk over and I'm just gonna like reach in my pocket and pull out like a napkin. Okay, like just something like that. I'm gonna go up to one of the guards and I'm just gonna like flash it to him really quickly and then pull it back down and just be like, "Don't worry, boys, I've got this handled." He just goes and I'm gonna turn around and start walking back over towards Z.
Okay, if I could just point something out, I love that even though Ellis has 4 arms at the moment, he has a 26 persuasion, so people just aren't phased.
It honestly
by that.
makes me stronger. I'm magical FBI. That's the thing. Like I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna be like, guys, I'm from the MIB.
He's just confident enough that they're just like, he seems trustworthy.
I'm the Magical Information Bureau, or Men in Black, whichever you prefer.
The Men in Green.
Okay, I'm going to say, like, in this moment, they are like a little bit startled, and not super thinking super clearly. You see, one of them, like this main guard, she has blonde hair. And like just straight up Skyrim guard,
Gotcha.
Just with the classic helmet, and the spear. You do this to her, and she says, "Excuse me, what? Who are you with?"
MIB, Magical Information Bureau. Yeah, we're operating on a call. Heard that there was some magical information to be found here. And so we decided that we were going to come by and take care of that. Don't mind the arms, part of the magical information.
Oh, what do you think is this person? And she motions to Z, like, is he some kind of a
alien? Yes. We need to take him in for questioning.
Alien? What's an alien?
From another plane, from another planet. A being of unfathomable power. Now here, probably to invade, and I look back at Z and I'm like, to invade, correct?
She looks over at the other guard and looks back at you and she says, Is he from the underground? Is he a mole man?
I can neither confirm or deny. That is classified information, but, and I put my hand up and I go, absolutely he is. Without a doubt in my mind.
And she said, she looks over at the other person and they just kind of like, but they just point at each other like just like we knew it. We knew it. They're like,
you guys guess?
I was telling people there are people living underneath the city.
Yep.
People from before the 100, from Blue Tower. You know, from. I knew
You guys
it.
were right
I
on.
knew they were more men.
Absolutely.
I knew it.
You guys were ahead of the curve.
Okay. Is there anything we can do to help?
You should probably get out of the city.
Get out of the city.
Honestly, yeah.
We have to protect the city. We can't.
There's not going to be anything left to protect.
It's the uprising, isn't it?
I can neither confirm or deny this classified information, but my hand on my face. Absolutely, it is.
It's just like Bo Togan said. It's just like he said.
Right after he told us to drink monkey pee. Remember? Make us feel like a feral animal.
You know the rock that he stands on in the middle of the city,
And just
and
yells.
he just talks really loud. Yeah.
Just yells. But he also like leans forward a lot. And he just leans forward and he shakes his head and closes his eyes as he says something ridiculous.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go pack up my family. We're leaving the city.
Absolutely. Godspeed. And I'm going to turn around and go take care of the scene. I'm going to be like,
The guards turn, and the guard and all the other bystanders are just like, what? As the guards just turn and walk away.
Z, of course, did not clock any of this and never stopped walking, so he's like several blocks away.
taking care of business.
So, no, did my 12 stealth fail the check?
Will, you make it back to Miss Ennis's house, and it doesn't seem like anybody saw you.
Okay.
So I'll say, with all of that, you all managed to each separately make your way back to Blue Tower Museum. Cut to back down inside the secret compartment underneath the museum. You have the entrance to the secret room sealed, and you all are sitting in the room. Miss Hennessy is back over at her desk, just scribbling more. She didn't even really acknowledge you as you came in. So what do you all do in this moment?
I'm just going to walk in and sit down and put my hands behind my head and then my other hands behind my head. And I'm just going to be like, I love it when a plan comes together.
Juno says, so that was when a plan comes together.
They've been considerably worse.
Look at how much money we made, Juno. I think that, guys, maybe I should keep the extra hands forever. Do you think? I mean, they're good.
They were useful.
They're very useful. I was really good at climbing and grabbing things. Really worked well.
Everybody give me a perception check.
I'm rolling well. Good. I'm rolling good today, boys.
Ooh.
It's an 18.
Say 17.
That's a 21.
Wow. And that was with the subtracted?
Oh, no, sorry. Give me one moment. 19.
Okay, still the highest. Cool. I mean, I think as you all are sitting here, Z, I'll just say you notice it first. You do notice that Ellis's second pair of arms are a little smaller.
But honestly, I have a feeling that they're not going to last too much longer unless you specifically make them stick around. I don't feel like this is going to be a permanent solution.
I look down at the arms. I just go, well, it was fun while it lasted. Put my head down.
And here's all the gold you collected.
Yeah.
Juno says, so it looks like we have enough now. Between the gold that Dr. Lau gave us and the gold we found tonight, next stop, the dock.
I think we got a couple errands to run, some ducks to lay in a row real quick before we can really take off completely for a longer amount of time. But that should be okay because most of the ships don't leave until the evening anyway.
We have more side tangents that we have to go on.
Yeah, I think we work today and then we sleep on the boat. And maybe if we stay up on the boat, we can get there faster and make up some extra time.
Is everyone going to be okay to just push through? Like Ellis, no offense, but Ellis was kind of tapped before we went on our little escapade.
Yeah, Ellis is asleep.
Yeah, I was gonna say you all have now officially been awake for 24 hours, so you're going to start taking levels of exhaustion unless you take a long rest.
I'm fine to keep going.
Will is actively swaying back and forth, just like slowly. Can't put one weight on one foot at all. Just back and forth, back and forth.
Juno says, okay. I mean, I suppose we should take a bit of a rest before we get going. I think it'd probably be better to start fresh.
On second thought, yeah.
Well, one thing I would like to do with every long rest as we have them is kind of just take a minute to check in with our brothers here, and see how the characters are doing. So first, let's start with Ellis. You said Ellis already fell asleep, right?
Yeah.
What is Ellis dreaming about? And like, what's going on in him? And what does he think the tomorrow has in store for him?
Ellis is having a dream where he's running down a road, and the road just goes on and on and on, and it goes on forever and ever and ever. And he's running down it, and he's running from something, but he doesn't know what it is that he's running from. And he's running and he's running and he's running. There's this little, like, fairy creature, just very plump and fat, like full, like, Michelin Man arms. You know, looks like a loaf of Hawaiian bread rolls. And he's looking at it, and it's looking back at him. It has the face of Jason Segel.
Okay.
But I think that in his mental well-being, I think that he's like what he expects tomorrow. I think he expects to just like do one more quest, and like he's just feeling really like confused, and like he wants to go help his brother, but he's also like feeling this like genuine fear for his life and also for his brother's life. And now he's like with his brothers, and there's kind of this bittersweet nature to everything. His general vibe is nervous. I hope that makes sense. Did that make sense? Okay. Like
Yes.
all that? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It made perfect sense, actually.
Okay, good.
Very vivid. Drew, how is Z doing?
Z, I want to say, probably just looked around for a while and tried to find a spot on the floor, like tucked away, that was big enough for him to like actually like just lay down flat. And I feel like eventually he found something, but it's still not like quite big enough. So he's like a little tucked away. As far as how he's doing, he's also nervous, but for him it comes out more like with the same kind of like feelings of like nervous and like excited, or like a roller coaster or something, like more of like he doesn't want to stop even though he needs to, and like he's trying to be like as rational as he can, as hard as that is for him, and so he's trying to like take it slow and be as strategic and like think about what he's doing, but he really just wants to run at the problem and just get it over with and done.
Yeah, I like that. Justice, what is Will doing? in this moment.
So Will had just sat down on a chair to like kind of rest for a second, and then he stands up, and as everybody else is like decompressing, he goes back up to his room, and going into it, he sees like on his walls a bunch of notes and hand-drawn maps, and just like lots of question marks surrounding names, and random books stacked in piles, a few just open on his bed, and he starts just collecting them all into a pile, taking all of the notes off the walls, and kind of just removing himself from the room. Any trace of really him being there. Reaches into hit one of his jacket pockets, one that's right on his chest and sealed almost all the time, and he just grabs one of the artifacts he found fairly recently and just kind of holds it for a second and says, "Gray, you there?"
You are looking around your room holding this necklace, and we see your bed, which is absolutely pristine.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly there's this fog that enters the room. For a moment, you can see your own breath. And then there is a man sitting on the bed. He is made entirely out of this swirling gray smoke. He wears like these robes that are adorned in lots of various kinds of jewelry. He has long hair that reaches down to his shoulders and a goatee that is trimmed close to his face. And he sits on the bed squared up, and he turns and he looks over at you with just this sort of blank expression on his face. He says, "I never left."
I just sometimes forget. You've seen what we're doing to go rescue my old brother, right?
I have.
Can you use some? And Will looks down at his like bag of miscellaneous like artifacts and just, I think I should sell most of that to get some money to maybe buy something that can help me find Isaac or protect myself or protect Z and Ellis. And I honestly don't really know much about it. It's probably the main reason I still have them.
You see a smile creeps across his face, and he says, "You mean you're bad with people?"
Yeah, I'm bad with people.
Yes, I've seen it. I'll tell you what. I can impart some knowledge unto you. My social capabilities. But I need you to let me read that book.
The Children of Taka?
Yes. There's something about it that has sparked my interest.
Yeah, if you help me tomorrow, or when I wake up, if you help me sell some of this, then I'll leave it open for you. You can read it tonight.
All I have to do is touch it. And he holds his hand out.
Will touches it to him.
You place the book on his hand, and you know that, like, there's a part of you that almost like lets go of it, but you know he's completely incorporeal, so you it doesn't actually, like, you don't actually feel it set down into his hand. It kind of passes through, but as it does, there's just this ripple of this like white light that courses through him, that starts from where the book touched him. And you see he just closes his eyes for a moment and sighs. Interesting. I appreciate it very much. I love that our relationship can go both ways.
I appreciate that too. Is there anything in particular you were trying to learn from that book?
Ever since we met, since you woke me up, I've been a bit of a blank slate. I'm just trying to learn who I am.
Have you made progress?
He shrugs his shoulders. Here and there. Your hand.
Will reaches out his.
What was the skill that Gray had been helping you with most recently?
I think it was actually the flute. Yeah. Yeah, it was the flute.
Yeah. No, it's very good. Your expertise in your music playing abilities begin to fade away from your mind. You suddenly go, wait, when I play a D flat, where are my fingers? You know? And that fades away. And suddenly you feel this sense of confidence. Something in you sort of rises up from within you that you didn't know that you had. You feel almost called to a crowd. And Will, you now have expertise in persuasion.
Okay.
And Gray says, will that be all?
That'll be all for tonight. Well, actually, you've been watching. Do you recognize the circlet that my brother Ellis is wearing right now? Have you seen that before?
Not to my knowledge.
It's worth a shot. All right. Till next time, Gray.
His smoky body just...
Will collects all of his books and notes and just kind of grabs the most recent notes that he's been taking, the ones on his current project, and puts those in his bag, and the rest of them he just spends about like a few minutes cleaning the room to make it look like nobody had really been living there, and then takes all of his books and stuff and brings it down to the hidden library, and then just sets them in a corner, writes a note that's to Miss Hennessy that just says Will's books, we'll come back for later, and puts it on top of the stack, and then walks over and just leans up against a bookcase and falls asleep in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. And we have our first official long rest, which means something in particular.
That we all feel better.
I need someone to roll me a D100.
I can. I'm always on the D100 grind.
We want above a 5.
Above a 5, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So a 92 will work. I had y'all
You
going for a
jerk.
second. I had y'all going for a second.
As you all settle down to sleep in various states of anxiety and distress, there is a part of you that rests easy, knowing that somewhere Isaac is okay. And you all wake up. And you are in the hidden compartment of Miss Hennessy's museum. And the day is new. What's ironic is that the day is actually more than halfway over by this point for you to all have an 8-hour long rest because you stayed up all night. We will say it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And there is much to do. We don't need to play. We've been doing a lot of role play. Let's just kind of discuss what you all want to do.
Ellis really just wants to be a dad at the end of the day. Despite everything else, all the details in life, and he's just like, I can't do this anymore, guys.
Oh, speaking of that, I will say, Ellis, when you wake up, you do have 2 little baby arms hanging lifeless from your body. You can't control them. They're just 2 little, yeah.
I can't feel my arms. I can't feel my arms.
Ellis mourns an appropriate amount, and then he just kind of like makes his jacket a little bit bigger on his
just
body.
Stuffs them in there.
Just kind of stuffs them in there and like in the inner pockets, and then I'm gonna go to a cafe and get myself some coffee, get my morning started.
Okay. Okay.
Are we doing the quest to get the bag of holding?
I vote yes. I would like to do that.
Yeah, we're doing the dog quest on the way to the boat. So like we're just doing stuff before then.
Yes, off mic, we were discussing how the West Side Wood is actually in their path heading towards the ocean. So it actually is feasible for them to do that today if they wanted. But what all do you want to do before you leave the city?
Ellis would like to go to the cafe. I think he meets Fodder at the cafe after flirting with the barista.
Okay.
I would like to go to a pawn shop / weapon store.
So pawn shop.
Ideally one, yeah, exactly. Ideally the kind of pawn shop that also sells weapons. That's what I'm looking for.
Just a pawn shop in the South.
Because I'm assuming that there could either just be a trash weapon or like literally a legendary weapon that some hero is just like, I didn't have money on me. I just needed to, I'll come back for it.
Yeah, totally. Drew, what about Z? What does he want to do?
Z is just gonna go ahead and take Miss Hennessy over to Haven. Just drop her off so that she's safe.
Okay, cool. So first off, as you all are leaving, Will, what are you doing in preparation to like get Miss Hennessy ready to go?
I think he's just packing meals for her and then also like creating things for her to do on the trip that are like still the work. Like he's basically like he gets essentially what is the equivalent of like something like a Rubik's cube. It's like several like puzzle boxes that they have collected and solved, mixes them up, and then says like, Miss Hennessy, we need to find out the answer to this. It's like by the next time I see you, I really need to know what this means. And like gives her those and then just like notebooks full of paper so that she feels like she's like doing work.
She looks at you with an intensity that you can't really describe. And she just says, I understand. It will be done.
Good.
As Z is sort of motioning for Miss Hennessy to leave, Miss Hennessy turns to you, Will, and says, William, are you coming?
Not this time. I gotta go look into some stuff overseas. Been hearing about some interesting things from my brother. I'm gonna check them out. If I find anything, I'll make sure to bring it back.
Okay. Well, William, I believe I will miss you very much.
I'll miss you too.
But no use dwelling on sad things. On the future. As you and I both know, there is much to be said about delving into the past. And she looks around, and as she is beginning to follow Z out the door, she knocks on the wall 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. And a little panel opens up, and there is a button inside that she presses, and the entire wall of magical items and the entire secret library all begins to fold in on itself in an extra dimensional space. It just folds in half again, until it suddenly just looks like, like the hobo knapsack that is on a stick. And it just is resting in the middle of the room. And she goes over and she picks it up and she says, "See you soon, William." And she begins to trot out the door after Z.
Yeah, I think Will's just looking with wide eyes. He definitely did not know she had that kind of magic.
Yeah, cool. And so she and Z head off. Oh, and I will also say, Juno says, is there anything I should do before just meeting back where we said we would?
I need you to kill Dr. Lau.
Why?
No witnesses.
What has Dr. Lau done to deserve that?
Seen us. No witnesses. Some criminal you are, you don't even understand what it takes to be a real criminal.
Ellis, you are the one that was standing on your high horse telling me how bad a person I am. So I have to say I'm a little surprised by this suggestion you're making.
Suggestion, it's an order. I'm sorry, but it's an order. You asked if there's anything we could do. If there's anything you could do. And I'm giving you something you could do. You could kill Dr. Lau for us. Protect her identities. Who knows who he's going to tell?
I feel like you're baiting me.
How about you just get us some food for the trip?
I ran out of goldfish a while ago, and I've been really, really craving some.
Any potions?
No.
Yeah, if you could get some potions of healing, that would be awesome.
So let me get this straight. You want me to go to Dr. Lau's office, kill Dr. Lau, and take his potion?
Not kill Dr. Lau. No,
She was willing to kill Dr. Lau. And we want her to join us?
No, that was a joke.
Dr. Lau didn't do anything.
He's an innocent man. No, Judo, maybe you could just go shopping using some of the money we got.
Okay.
Nobody would recognize you, most likely.
What, I take 100 gold? See what I can get for it?
Sounds good.
And she takes off. Z, I think we'll do you first. You make your way to the Haven. It takes a couple hours to get there, but especially with Miss Hennessy, I'm assuming what are you doing? Because she is fairly slow. What are you doing to kind of speed up the process?
Literally before we the second we got to the edge of the city, we're it would be not really weird, but like somebody might stop me, he just like picked up Miss Hennessy and then just put her like on his shoulders like Yoda and just started like jogging.
like crawling.
I'm not waiting for this. Like
She says, "Ooh, Big William, you're very strong."
Thank you, ma'am.
As you make your way through the woods, and we arrive at the Haven, and it is in flames. There is much rejoicing as you arrive. Clint comes up to you and he says, "Hey, see, it's good to see you. Do we have someone new going to be joining us?"
Yeah, she's new. She's not afflicted or like she's quite special, but not in the normal sense for us. She's very important to one of my younger brothers, and she's in a tight spot, and we don't really have the ability to take her with us, so we're gonna leave her here at the Haven until we get back.
Well, that's great. We're happy to have her. Anything I should know about her?
Not too much different than old lady Morgan. Doesn't always know where she is. We'll get rapid senses of knowing exactly where she is, and she'll probably hit you with her stick. But she doesn't bite, I think.
Well, just like old lady Morgan, then. Well, we'll handle it just fine. One thing you should know, though, I woke up this morning and Jackson was gone. He left a note saying that while he appreciates the help we offered him, he was needed elsewhere. Not really sure what that's about.
All right, just try and keep an ear to the ground. We can't let him just like go on a murder spree, you know what I mean?
Of course, preaching to the choir here. The gold feathers are out looking for him right now. If he's still in the city, they'll find him. There's only so many places you can go with his affliction.
Yeah. I trust that you'll handle the situation as best as I could. I'm really grateful for having you around and being able to leave you in charge.
Well, I appreciate that, Z. Learn from the best.
All right. Well, as much as I would love to stick around, there's still some more stuff that we got to get done today, and I still got to run a couple miles back into town.
As you kind of turn to leave, you see a Harengon with black fur, the large bunny ears sticking up out of his head. You see Kat's father, Arnold, kind of jogs up to you and says, Z, if you could...
Yeah, sure. What's up? What you need?
Kat, I think she could really use a bit of a... Ever since what happened the other day with Jackson, she's taken it kind of hard. And I was wondering if you wouldn't mind maybe talking to her.
Yeah, I can talk to her for a minute. That makes sense.
Great. And he begins walking back to his small hut on the edge of the perimeter of the Haven, and he opens up the door, motions for you to walk inside if you wish.
Yeah, Z heads on in.
And as you're inside, you see Kat, her brown fur sticking up, just a patch of it. She's like wrapped up in blankets, so you can only see just like the top of her head. Her bunny ears like laid flat on the top of her head as she's kind of just like curled up facing the wall away from you. She doesn't acknowledge your presence as you walk in.
All right, so Z will just walk in and just like sit down like next to her, or just be like quiet for a little bit. Just like, hey kid, how you doing?
She doesn't respond.
I get it. What happened was really, really scary, and that's not something that you or anybody should ever be put through. Kids especially should never have to be that kind of scared. And I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry that you had, even for a moment, had to experience
Why
that.
didn't I change? When Alex gets scared, he turns into a wolf. When Jessie gets scared, she gets all like slimy, you know? But when I got scared, I just froze. I wasn't help to anybody.
I don't know why you didn't change. Everyone's got a fight or flight response. And with our particular gifts and whatnot, it's usually tied in pretty heavily. So I can't really tell you why or why not it wouldn't have activated. But all I know is that you were scared and you had a right to be. And you luckily had people around you that could handle it. And I'm grateful for that. Like, even if I wasn't here, you had people who are all over our little village here that would have stepped in.
I want to help. I don't want this to be for nothing.
It's never going to be for nothing, Kat. You're learning the skills that you're learning, and you're getting better at controlling everything, and you're growing up here is to make you a better person, a more capable person. But that doesn't always mean a fighter. Not everybody's a fighter, and there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, if I had my way, none of you would ever fight. I would never fight. I don't like fighting, Kat.
You're good at it, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. But there's things that I would rather be good at, Kat. In this world, I am naturally good at hurting people and breaking things. I am a destructive force. But there's people out there that are doctors, healers, builders. They put the world back together again and they make new things. And in my opinion, that's so much more important.
So what am I then? What am I good at?
You, Kat, are a kid. And all you should ever strive to be at this moment is good at being a kid. Live your life. Enjoy the moment. You get to play and have fun. You have a safe environment here to just enjoy time. Just be a kid.
You see, she thinks about that for a minute, mulls it over. Okay, I'll be a kid. But when I'm not a kid, I think I figured it out. I'm gonna take your job.
Oh, really? You're going to take my job?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be in charge of the Haven.
Well, I look forward to that day, because then I get to retire and then maybe I'll be a kid.
And you see, she just kind of laughs at that. Thank you, Z. Are you gonna come back soon?
I can't promise anything, but I'm gonna try. I don't really want to be away from here at all, but this is necessary.
She just wraps you up in this big hug.
I'm gonna miss you, Kat.
I'm gonna miss you too, Z. She lets you go and says, I'm gonna go to sleep for a minute now. Make a perception check.
11.
Nothing seems too out of the ordinary.
All right. Z will just slowly start to get up quietly to leave the room.
And see, you walk out of there. And is there anything else you wanted to do?
No, I imagine Z just starts, like, says his quick goodbyes to everybody, probably introduces Miss Hennessy to old lady Morgan or whatever. They won't remember that they got introduced, but then halfway through the day, they will have always known each other.
They already know each other.
Yeah.
It's just like Verda and Morgan just point at each other from across the yard and then just sprint at each other. They have to pull them out. They're just like, they're just fist fighting.
And just saying, "You're still alive! How dare you!"
Not for long.
You're the old lady from across the street when I was a little girl.
We'll go ahead and cut over to Ellis. Ellis, why don't you describe this cafe that you were at?
It's cute and quaint. It's small. It's very lively. It's very busy. It's just filled with a bunch of people and beanies with mustaches. Everybody's wearing old clothes. Everybody looks like they smell bad, but in a cool way.
You've been here for a couple hours, flirting with the barista. Why don't you go ahead and roll for handsome?
That's a 12.
Your little baby arms slip out of your shirt.
Yeah, the little baby hand.
Yeah, I will say it was going really well.
Yeah.
Until a baby hand
Yeah.
just kind of popped back out of your side, and it grossed her out a little bit. What can I say?
Fairly.
And
That's
with
fair.
a 12, you weren't kicked out of the restaurant or anything, the cafe or anything, but
But I was on thin ice.
you were on thin ice, and you weren't really able to finagle your way out of that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you do as you feel a little rejuvenated after, of course, your long rest, but also just this time alone sitting at a cafe?
I wait for fodder quietly.
Have you contacted Fodder?
No.
No, you're just waiting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I assume he'll be here.
Why don't you roll me a luck check?
Okay. I add handsome to this, right?
No, it's just again, you don't add anything to a luck check.
That's a 15.
I was gonna let you have it on a nat 20.
That's good.
But on a 15, I'm gonna give you something.
Something good.
You are sitting in this cafe, just like waiting for Fodder to arrive, and you hear a familiar voice. Is that you, Ellis? And you turn to look, and you see Wheeler Aldrin, a fellow student at the Omnibus, and your arch nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
This devastatingly handsome man. We'll say he is wearing like the Omnibus red right now. He wants everybody to know that he attended here. But why don't you tell me, what does Ellis hate about this guy so much?
Well, I think what Ellis doesn't realize he hates about this guy is that he's jealous that he gets attention. He doesn't think that. He doesn't know that. But subconsciously and in reality, that's what he doesn't like about him. He doesn't like that this guy gets attention over him consistently. But what Ellis thinks he doesn't like about him is he thinks he's selfish. He thinks that he's fake. He thinks that he's rude. He thinks he's an idiot and claims to be smart. He thinks that he's he thinks that the guy's overrated.
Gotcha. Well, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to roll for handsome.
Oh, opposed rolls of handsome.
I'm not kidding. That was a natural 20.
Silvery barbs. Silvery barbs. I'm dead serious. Silvery barbs. I'm rolling silvery barbs on Handsome. That's not fair. I'm not taking that crap today. I'm not taking
Sorry,
that crap.
Ransom. I don't think silvery barbs works on this
Oh. I hate him so much. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
He is the worst.
That's my favorite net 20.
You used rolling for Handsome against me. You absolute fiend.
That is legendary.
I hurt my knee in real life.
So you see he walks in, and on a nat 20, I think I'm going to say this barista that you've been like flirting with all day.
Oh,
Just
no, don't do this.
immediately walks up and says like,
Noah, rethink it.
she says, "Are you Wheeler?"
Oh.
And he says, "I am, actually." And she's like, "Aren't you the first marked human to graduate from the omnibus with a perfect score?" And he says, "Well, you know, I had some really good teachers. It was it was a group effort. And of course, I couldn't have done it without my companion." He motions down, and you see a penguin. This penguin is wearing a newsy cap and pants, just like really.
That's so sick.
Yeah, she's not a humanoid. She is just legitimately a penguin, but she is also wearing pants.
I hoped that was the case.
I would have been disappointed if it was humanoid.
And you know, this is Puka. And the barista looks down at Puka and goes, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And Puka goes, "Poka. Poka, poka." You see that Wheeler and the barista begin to start like having a conversation. What do you do?
I fireball the cafe.
It looks to be going really well. She's actively supposed to be working for the job, but he just offers her a seat at his table, and she just sits down next to him, and they just start having a
That's unprofessional.
what looks to be a really engaging, good conversation.
Oh my gosh. Ellis just stares at his food, at his drink, and just he just seethes with rage. He is so mad at this little thing, and he looks down at his weird baby hands. And he was like, "If I didn't have these baby hands, that would have been me. I'd like to see him try and talk to somebody with a weird little baby hand."
And so I think we cut away from Ellis seething in rage, unless there's anything else you would like to do.
No.
Okay. So we're going to go to Will. Will, you are walking through downtown Lifefall. I imagine you're still just trying to blend in. You want to roll me another stealth check?
Okay, that is a 24.
You make your way through. You feel adequately hidden, blending into the crowd. You come across a pawn shop. And across the top of the door frame, it just says a single word, Guthrie's. And you open up the door and you wander in, and you just see lining the walls are all these just various artifacts. You see that, what's your passive investigation?
My passive investigation is 24.
On that, you immediately clock that half the stuff in here is fake and half of it is real, but all of it is polished. And you see a lot of it is behind glass, and you see there's just a single guy behind the table. And I will say he is this large guy. He's probably maybe even a little bit taller than Z and very wide. You see a GIF, this hippo man that has grayish skin and a monocle. As he looks down at you, and he is currently like with these massive meaty hands investigating this like ruby. But as you enter in, he looks up and he says, "Hello, welcome to Guthrie's."
Hello. Thank you. Will's just going to take a deep breath and then, propelled by the confidence, just going to stride right up to the desk and say, "Hello, Mr. Guthrie.
Yes.
I am about to embark on a bit of a journey.
Yes.
And I expect it to be pretty dangerous.
Yes.
And I would like to have a weapon that's a little bit above average.
Yes.
Light enough to do what I need to do with it."
Guthrie has what you need. He looks along the wall. Like, you tell me in this moment, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for a like magical either scimitar or rapier, ideally a rapier.
Okay, cool. Why don't you roll me a like luck check, just to determine kind of like what's in here?
No joke, Noah. Nat 20.
What, dude? Oh my gosh. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay. You see he goes to reach for this like fake sword. And you immediately clock that it's fake.
No, sir, I'm looking like I need something real and effective.
He like turns and looks over his shoulder at you, and he like raises his eyebrows. He's like, "Yes," and he puts the sword back, and he walks back into the back, and he comes back out with this. It's very clearly like some kind of sword wrapped up in a white cloth, and he comes and he sets it down on the bar between the two of you, and he unwraps it. You described to me on this nat 20, what does this rapier look like?
I think it's made pretty much entirely out of silver, and it just has like black leather grip with like one of those like circular like cross guards that rapiers have that looks like silver branches of a tree going around. So like when your hand's on it, it covers your wrist with like a tree's roots, and the blade is just like thin, about an inch wide, and has like inscriptions and designs going up and down it.
This rapier has a cold bite. It will extinguish any flame. I will sell it to you for 300 gold. This is my best offer.
Will looks into his duffel bag. 300 gold is the same as 30 platinum, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the majority of my collection is worth. And Will just sets it out on the table and sets up each piece, which to a non-pawn shop does just look like a random accumulation of things. But as he sets it out, every time he pulls out a new one, he sets it on the desk and he looks at Guthrie and like, "Can you believe this?" And then pulls up the next one and sets up this whole like probably like 20 to 25 item collection of just like small, very well kept, very well polished like metal objects. "Sir, this collection is easily worth 300 gold. For the right buyer, I think I could get close to 400. But for you, I think this is worth a trade."
Great. Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
All right. That is a 22 for persuasion, though.
You see, Guthrie, after he sees all your stuff, he's like, "I should have asked for a higher price." He's like, I didn't know I was dealing with someone like this, and he looks very excited to get all this new stuff, and he says, "Pleasure," and he extends a hand to you to shake it.
Pleasure. And shakes his hand.
All right, Justice, why don't you go ahead and add the Frost brand rapier
Ooh,
into your inventory?
that is a really good one.
Yeah. So for our listeners, I'll go ahead and read this. When you hit with an attack using this magic sword, the target takes an extra 1d6 cold damage. In addition, while you hold the sword, you have resistance to fire damage. In freezing temperatures, the blade sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. When you draw this weapon, you can extinguish all non-magical flames within 30 feet of you. This property can be used no more than once per hour.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's Ray.
Hey, it's a nat 20, man. What can I say?
We'll fix it up. I guess like sheaths it in just its like black like leather sheath and puts it on. All right. Thank you. And then as he walks out, he just points to an item on one of the shelves and says, just a tip. That is actually a little bit more rare than you seem to think it is. I think you should raise the price a little bit. Someone might try and take advantage of that. If anybody else like me walks in, I wouldn't want you getting scammed.
Guthrie says, "Come back anytime.
I'll do that.
Guthrie loves you."
Thank you.
And you leave this hippo man behind. All right, so we are going to cut to, we'll say about 2 hours later. We are approaching the evening, but the sun has not gone down yet. And I will say that you all just decided to basically reconvene outside the city. You know, maybe a half mile down the road is where those bandits are. And another mile past that is where Buck's address is. You know that Buck kind of is like one of those, he lives outside the city limits where he has to abide by less rules. And so you know that you can kind of, if you want to, you know, pass right through where the bandits are and drop Frankie, the dog, off, assuming she is still alive, on your way to where you know the dock is. And we'll say that you know the dock is leaving in like 4 hours. You know the next boat is leaving in like 4 hours. So you all are here, and we'll say that Juno actually arrives last. And you see she comes and she has a massive bag. It's kind of like very Santa Claus-esque. Okay. And she sets it down and you hear the jangling of potions. And you also see, without needing to roll anything, she is covered in soot.
You didn't kill Dr. Lau, did you?
No, I did not. Interesting wrinkle. When I arrived, and I know this is going to sound hard to believe, but I promise I am telling you the truth, and I don't want to waste the potion of truth telling I have in this bag. It was already on fire. And I rushed in to see if I could find the old man. He was nowhere to be found, so I just grabbed every potion that I could find. I mainly got healing potions, but there might be a couple good ones in there too.
Well, I hope he's okay.
Do you think it was because of us? Do you think we brought the circle to him?
I don't know, but I didn't think they would do something like that.
She raises her eyebrows and kind of almost takes a step back, like, you apparently don't know them very well.
I guess I just assumed that they would act like other druids.
What I have found is in this world of tieflings and animal folk and dragonborn, at the end of the day, everyone is still human. There is no boundary the Circle of the Skull is not willing to cross. It very well might have been them. But we cannot waste any more time.
You're right. So let's go get Buck's dog.
Honestly, that might be where we just need to end
It's
it.
a good place. It's a good place. Yeah.
Perfect line delivery, just as beautiful.